Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar presentation today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located. And I can see that we do have a very good turnout for our webinar presentation today. People from all over the place. So thank you so much for joining us. If you want to ask a question or engage or talk to me or say something, then you can do that, of course, at any time throughout our presentation today by putting your comments into our chat box. You can find the chat box down there on the right-hand side of the platform. Thank you very much again for attending. It's my great pleasure to present this webinar today on behalf of Bentham Science. Bentham Science will talk about we'll talk about Bentham Science a little bit more in a moment, but first of all, I want to just check that the audio is working properly in our presentation. So it would be great if you can to just drop me a message there into the chat box to let me know that the audio is working. That would be fantastic. That would be great joining us, and thank you again for your time today. This is a presentation brought to you by Bentham Science. This is a presentation about open research and open access. My name is Gareth Dyke. You can find out more information about me and about my research online, and I welcome any contact from audience members, participants today, if you would like to get in touch and find out more about the kind of work that we do with our colleagues at Bentham Science. Don't forget, as we get started on our content today, Bentham Science is a major international scientific, technical, and medical research publisher with more than 100 online and print journals, more than 800 online and print books, and information solutions for researchers involved in various disciplines across science. So if you're looking for a place to publish your next research paper, a Bentham Science journal or ebook might be the place for you. Let me tell you a little bit more about Bentham Science. If you want to find out about the catalogs, about the content, about the information of this publisher, then jump over there onto Eurekaselect.com, because Eurekaselect.com is the catalog website for Bentham Science publishers. There you can access all of the content. You can see what kinds of open access books, ebooks, and journals are available to you as a potential author. Right, moving on to the content of our presentation today, we are going to spend the next 20-25 minutes or so talking about open access and open research. What's that all about, I hear you ask? Well, maybe you probably have heard of open access journals. Those are journals, as we'll see in a minute, that publish content free online for anybody to access, usually at a cost to authors or institutions. We'll come back to that again in a moment. But of course, open access publishing, as you can see here, is just one component of what we like to call the open research movement or the open research theme. You can see that this comprises a lot of different areas: data, publishing, open science. The fundamental point of this open research idea, and it is like a movement, an idea, a theme, is of course that all of the work, all of the data, all of the content that's produced by researchers around the world should be available and accessible for everybody. A great idea, of course. I'm sure you'd agree with that. And as we'll see in a minute, that is what most researchers working around the world at universities and other institutions actually would agree with. So open access, of course, is free of charge online digital content that's free in most cases of copyright, licensing restrictions for reuse. And we'll come back to that again in a moment, because of course, if you publish your work online as an author, you often do retain the copyright. So you can allow people to reuse it, or people can approach you for the content reuse. That's quite different to the way that journal articles are published in what we like to call those quote unquote traditional journals. So by open access to literature, we mean free availability on the internet, permitting any users to read, download, copy, distribute, print, search, or link to the full text of these articles. So if you agree with open research, and most researchers, as I mentioned, do agree that what they do, what they publish, the data that they collect should be controlled by them, the researcher, and should be available online for anybody to access and reuse. So open access publishing, that's just part of the open access, open research movement, our topic for our presentation today. So here you go, open access literature. It's online, it's free of charge. So publishers like Bentham Science, for example, provide authors with a number of open access journals. Bentham publishes lots of traditional so-called hybrid journals as well. But the open access journals, when you publish your work in one of those journals, anybody else from around the world can access, can download that content. So we are going to talk in a bit more detail about what this means for researchers in terms of your career development and so on. But let's be clear as we get started that open access journals, if they're reputable open access journals, and you should always, as an author, be aiming to publish your work in the best journals possible. Of course, that goes without saying, but we'll talk in a minute about how you can navigate the choppy waters of predatory publishing and so on, because of course you want to publish your work in a journal that's reputable. So look for peer review.